Before the world called him smart, people just called him Leo. He was the kind of guy who fixed things without being asked. Broken vending machine? He'd tap it twice and get it running. Phone glitching? He could solve it before the coffee cooled. But not once, not ever, did he walk across a graduation stage. He never earned a degree, never had the paper that said, he's qualified. What he had was a basement filled with wires, books with bent corners, and a brain that never stopped ticking. And the first time he applied to Dalmar Technologies, they didn't even look past the third line on his resume. No college degree? Sorry, we can't move forward. That's all the email said. The Dalmar building stood like a giant made of glass, tall, polished, full of people who had framed certificates on their walls. Leo used to walk past it on his way to the library. He'd stop sometimes, just look up at the windows. Not out of jealousy, out of hunger. He wanted to build something that mattered, not for a title, not for show, but because his hands needed to make, and his mind needed to solve. But doors like that? They didn't open for people like him, not unless he forced them open, and that's what he decided to do. Dalmar Technologies had a problem, a big one. They built software for hospitals, systems that tracked beds, meds, charts, everything. But one glitch kept crashing their servers. Data got lost, nurses couldn't log in. Some systems went dark in the middle of patient check-ins. Every department blamed the other. Weeks passed. Their best engineers worked overtime. Nothing worked, and nothing worked. That's when Leo saw the article online. Dalmar faces internal software crisis, costing millions in downtime. He didn't smile, he didn't laugh, he just rolled up his sleeves and started coding. He didn't have access to their system, but he didn't need it. Leo had seen the same kind of code before. It was messy, rushed, and full of small, lazy shortcuts, things people use when they're trying to meet a deadline. He rebuilt their entire system on a simulation platform in his basement. For 5 nights, he worked from sunset to sunrise. Coffee, sandwiches, old jazz records in the background. By the end of the week, he had done it. He not only found the problem, he fixed it, then cleaned it, then built a better version of it from scratch. He didn't ask for a meeting. He just sent an email with a video file attached. Subject line, I believe this might help. He didn't do it for revenge, not even to prove a point. Leo did it because people were being hurt by broken systems. Not just machines, real people, nurses, patients, families waiting for answers. He didn't need a degree to care. He just needed someone to listen. And finally, someone did. A week after the email was sent, he got a reply. Not from HR, not from a recruiter, but from the VP of Engineering. Mr. Leo, can we talk? They invited him in. This time, no resume was needed. He walked into the building, the same one that once rejected him, wearing jeans, a button-up shirt, and the same calm look he always had. They offered him a chair, a bottled water, a handshake, and then they asked, how did you solve this when no one else could? Leo smiled softly. Because I looked at it like a person, not a machine. Machines break, people patch. But systems need someone who understands what they're supposed to feel like. The room went silent. Then one of the managers said, we'd like to bring you on as a consultant, starting today. Leo thought for a moment, then nodded once. Okay, but I'm not here for titles. I'm here to make things work. Leo's fix worked. Not just for a day, or a week. It changed everything. The crashes, gone. The lost data, restored. The constant panic, replaced with calm. One department head called it a small miracle. But Leo knew better. It wasn't a miracle. It was hard work, done with heart. Within 2 months, Dalmar Technologies reported a 40% increase in system stability and nearly zero downtime. Their clients stopped complaining. The hospitals stopped calling in with tech emergencies, and the engineers, they started listening, not just out of respect, but because Leo made things make sense. He didn't talk in circles, he didn't show off, he just taught what he knew, with simple examples and clean code. Why do you write your system like this? One intern asked him one day. Leo smiled. Because code should read like a conversation, he said. Not a puzzle you need permission to solve. Over time, something funny happened. The same team that once judged him by his resume, began leaning in during meetings. Some asked for one-on-ones. Some rewrote their own methods, using Leo's framework. A few even admitted it out loud. You've taught me more in 2 weeks than I learned in my second year of grad school. And Leo? He didn't carry bitterness. He didn't rub it in. He just nodded and said, thanks. Then got back to work. Quiet, focused, unshaken. The kind of man who walks into a room, already knowing what he brings to the table. Today, Leo's name carries weight, not because of awards, not because of fancy letters after his name, but because he shows up when systems fall apart. Big companies, startups, city networks, health systems. When something breaks and no one knows how to fix it, they call Leo. He doesn't wear a suit. He doesn't give TED Talks. He doesn't tweet about what he's working on. But when he shows up, clipboard in hand, laptop under his arm, people step aside and make room. That's Leo, they whisper. The fixer. He's built a quiet legacy by solving things others abandoned. And in his town, he volunteers at the local youth tech center once a month. He doesn't start with JavaScript or networks. He starts with something simpler. He asks each kid, what do you want to fix? They stare at him. You mean, what do we want to build? Leo shakes his head gently. No, anyone can build, but only people who care will stick around to fix it. One boy once asked him, how did you get so good if you never went to college? Leo just smiled. I didn't need a degree to learn. I just needed to care more than I quit. At Dalmar's main office, the same building that once turned him away, there's now a framed poster in the front lobby. It shows Leo standing next to a server tower, his sleeves rolled up, his hand resting gently on the frame, like he's steadying the entire system. Below the photo, in bold lettering, respect the mind that works in silence. Even if it didn't come with a diploma, they rejected him for what he didn't have. But when everything broke, he gave them what no one else could. Because the smartest person in the room doesn't always wear a title. Sometimes, he's the one who refused to give up, even when the door stayed closed.